Today, we're going to go over the Tao Te Ching. Number 1, the Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The unnameable is the eternally real. Naming is the origin of all particular things. Free from desire, you realize the mystery. Caught in desire, you see only the manifestations. Yet mystery and manifestations arise from the same source. This source is called darkness. Darkness within darkness, the gateway to all understanding. So the first part that says the Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. That pretty much is indicating to me that when you label something, no matter what it is, it's not the actual thing that's right in front of you. So say, there's a strawberry, like it's not necessarily a strawberry per se, it's just what it is. But the label is not really necessarily the label. There's a lot of different ways that you could indicate what that is, just like there's all these different languages. And the truth of what you're trying to label is beyond labeling. So you have to have this understanding that to not get lost in communication, because there's different languages and different ways of saying pretty much the same thing or indicating the same thing. And I think that a lot of people get caught up in language rather than focusing on what is actually like right in front of you. And that is one thing that I think is extremely important when you're trying to understand Eastern philosophy, is that it's a different approach, and it's almost the opposite of what is taught here in the West. So rather than labeling something, like kind of encourage yourself not to label as much, and just kind of just really see and have less judgment, having less mind, less thoughts. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. And that goes with the Tao. Like basically, the Tao means the way, but it really doesn't really have a name to it. Like, it's just something that transcends the limitations of language, or of labeling things. And I think that the mind is so good at just constantly trying to label everything, like this is a hand, this is a forearm, this is a finger, or this is a thumb, this is a finger, this is the index finger, this is the middle finger, like this is your chest, this is your hair, this is your ear. Like, it's always about, the West is always about labeling every single thing, but the East, or like what it's trying to teach here in the Tao, is that there's something that's beyond label. So like, if you train yourself to just kind of learn to stop labeling everything and just kind of like see things for what they are without judgment, then you're gonna get closer to the truth. Unnameable is the eternally real. Naming is the origin of all particular things. The unnameable is the eternally real. So once again, another example I use is this idea of love. So people keep saying it, and then like the more that you say it and the more that you try to label things that says that this is what it is, then the more misused that it becomes. And then people end up having to say things such as, no, this is true love, and then that's not true love, you know. Or you could say martial arts, like this is true martial arts, and that's not martial arts, you know. So it's like there's such a thing that goes beyond the label, and it's just really looking at the truth of what it is, you know. And I think that sometimes we have to be attentive to that, and especially being able to be more aware and conscious of the things that we say, because I think that we tend to talk too much, or we tend to say too many things, and maybe not 100% of the time that it's genuine. You might be lying to other people or lying to yourself, you know. Even when it comes to people asking you how your day's going, and you might have this habitual response to say that it's going great or it's going good, but then in actuality that might not be true. You might be saying something that you don't really mean or feel. And the more that we do this, then the words that we say don't really have the meaning that it's meant to have, you know. So say you tell somebody that you love them, but then you really don't, or you don't really feel that, then whatever you're saying is really not having the meaning of what it's meant to have. So really, if we learn to speak less, and when we do speak, we actually have genuine speech that is true to how we truly feel, then we're gonna get closer to truth. But if every time we speak, we're speaking lies, or not really speaking how we truly feel, then we're just getting further away from truth. And essentially, the words that we say kind of they lose meaning, because it's there's no substance behind it. It's not authentic. It's not real, and we're essentially just lying, or we're deceiving, and that's going away from the truth. Free from desire, you realize the mystery. Caught in desire, you see only the manifestations. So this is a common teaching that is kind of going in the lines with Buddhist teachings as well. A lot of Buddhist teachings is kind of teaching you to free yourself from desires. So when you realize the mystery, it's like the Tao is like mysterious. So it's like you get closer to the Tao, the mystery, which is kind of like almost indicating truth, pretty much, like when you free yourself from desire. And this is a very common teaching in the East, you know, in the Tao and in Buddhist teachings, is learning how to kind of understanding that the limitations of desire, you know. And essentially the ego is the culprit. The ego is what pretty much creates desire, you know. And when you're on the path, when you're on the, you know, you're on the path to Tao, you kind of learn how to understand this ego and kind of limit the desire. And it's not necessarily that it's gonna go completely away, but you kind of understand it more deeply, and you have like more control over it, where it's kind of like food. Like your body needs food to survive. If you just don't eat, then you're just gonna die. So, but if you eat too much food, then that's not good for your health, and that could even mean that you die early. So there's got to be a balance there, and there's got to be a kind of like a self-control. So that's the same thing that goes with your desires, no matter it be like trying to obtain more possessions, more material possessions, no matter it be trying to have more money or make more money, no matter if it mean about trying to get involved in a certain intimate relationship, no matter it be if you want to obtain more recognition and fame for yourself, no matter it be if you want to have a child or have many children, or if you want to have more followers, or if you want to have more students or more customers. It's like these are all desires, and you have to learn how to have like the right approach, and it's like it's going to be really difficult to completely free yourself from all desires, but at least if you're able to have more of an understanding of this ego and how it works, and then how to really manage it the right way, and in a way you kind of have like healthy desires, like just like when you're eating, you want to eat healthier foods, and you don't want to eat too much, so when you have these desires and these things that you might want, you kind of have to learn how to manage these desires in a way where it's going to promote like a healthy development. When you're able to get to the point where you have this better managed, or you're kind of free in a way, almost free from excessive desires, then it's saying that you will realize the mystery, you will get closer to the Tao, you will get closer to truth. So in a way, it's almost kind of like promoting like living a more like holistic life where you truly enjoy every single moment of your life, and you're not just wasting your life just chasing after things that don't really have much meaning. Sometimes you got to think about like, why am I living, and what is my purpose, and what truly makes you happy. If really spending time with people you care about and doing things that you truly love, if that's what's really important, then that should be the focus, rather than chasing after desires for the majority of your life, chasing after things that don't really give you much meaning or purpose. Yet mystery and manifestations arise from the same source. This source is called darkness. Darkness within darkness, the gateway to all understanding. To me, mystery and manifestations, it says caught in desire, you see only the manifestations. So you only see, in my eyes, like just the surface level of things. You don't really get deep into things. And then mystery and manifestations arise from the same source. The source is called darkness. Darkness within darkness, the gateway to all understanding. I don't know, like to me it just kind of feels like it's talking about balance. Like I said, you can't really necessarily be free from all desire, because there's a certain like desire that we have to like live so that we can enjoy life. It's just, it's like we gotta have both, where it's like a balance, just having a balance, and not like in a way becoming like an aesthetic where you're like starving yourself to death, and you just you're just not really like, you're too disciplined in your approach, and then you're just not healthy, you're not happy. Like, I think there's a way where you can like have, like I said, like kind of like a healthy desire, having healthy goals, just like healthy foods, you know. And it's okay to want to improve yourself or to better yourself, and to really want nice things, and like kind of achieve greatness, but in a way is different than having that be your only thing that's important, and then you're putting all this into the ego, and then it's like you make it or you don't, and if you don't, like life is over, or you're like completely depressed. It's not really necessarily like an approach where you're putting a lot of effort. It's like it's more of a natural, just a more of a natural approach where your ego's not in control. You know, you're in control. Like your spirit is in control, and the ego can take you off into all these dreams and fantasies, but your spirit can kind of realize the beauty of this moment and the present moment, and to not really be distracted by this ego, but to continue on the path, the natural path, like the path of nature. And then you'll find like true fulfillment, true happiness, true peace, true love. And it's having that balance. You know, that's what I get from this reading.